93 WIBC, WIBC.com. This is the segment that we should do before every wrestling pay-per-view, but we don't get to do it before every wrestling pay-per-view. But maybe we'll make it a tradition here, starting with SummerSlam 2013. It is this Sunday in Los Angeles, the WWE's, I guess, second biggest show of the year. And with me to talk about this is the other wrestling, well, there are, I guess, three wrestling guys in the building. I would be one of them. Alex Brown would be the other. And the third one is the executive producer of Weekend Indiana. I think I just gave you a promotion, Kyle Wells, executive producer. That doesn't come with any added pay, though. Sorry.
Oh, bummer.
I'm not authorized to go that far. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good, Ray. How are you?
Not too shabby. I'm looking forward to this for more reasons than one. Let's just start at the top of the card and go match by match and see. Here's the one that I think really should be on the pay-per-view, but it's not. It's the SummerSlam kickoff match just before the actual pay-per-view, and that's for the U.S. title. Rob Van Dam, one of my all-time favorites, against the U.S. champion Dean Ambrose, who's one of my current favorites. I love the Dean Ambrose character. I like his style. I've always loved Van Dam. Honestly, I get maybe they picked these two to kick the thing off just because usually the pre-pay-per-view matches are, let's be honest, kind of lackluster. And this one I don't think is going to be lackluster.
I agree. I think these two are an ideal choice. If you're going to have a pre-show match to get the crowd pumped and ready to go in Los Angeles, Dean Ambrose and RVD will definitely start the show off right. And, every time, Ray, I don't know if you do this, but every time I say Rob Van Dam, I do the hand motion.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Since 1996 or 97, the first time I saw the guy, I've done it every single time. Yep.
Okay. I didn't know if I was the only person every time I said Rob Van Dam.
Yep.
I only said that. But, yeah, I like this pre-show, but I don't think RVD is going to leave as the U.S. champ. I really think Dean Ambrose is going to get over with. I think RVD is going to put him over and show that U.S. title actually means something. As Dean, showed on Monday night that is the most important title in that promo.
Yeah.
So I think he's trying to put some cred to it, and defeating Rob Van Dam, that'll definitely put some cred to it. So I got Dean Ambrose retaining at the pre-show.
I tend to agree. I wouldn't be surprised if they put it on Rob Van Dam. I think Dean Ambrose is more effective as the champion, and I think you're right. That title, it doesn't lose prestige if it goes over to somebody the caliber of Rob Van Dam, but leaving it on one guy for an extended period of time, like a Dean Ambrose, who's an attention getter, he's an attention getter both in the ring and on the mic, as opposed to, let's go to a recent champion, and I love Antonio Cesaro in the ring, don't get me wrong. This guy, I still think long-term he's going to be a star. He's just trying to work.
Impressive.
He's trying to work out everything outside of the ring, but he was not an attention getter as a U.S. champion. Dean Ambrose is, and I think if you leave that title on him for a while, that belt finally gets attention that it hasn't had in a very, very long time.
I agree with that.
All right, so we're in agreement, Dean Ambrose over Rob Van Dam. Let's go to the SummerSlam matches. Have you watched any of the Divas show on E! yet? Because I haven't.
I have, Ray. My girlfriend Kayla and I actually have finally talked her into watching it religiously now every Sunday night on the E! channel. And it's quite entertaining. When you get around to watching it, it gives you a nice, just behind-the-scenes feel of these divas and superstars.
So your significant other doesn't think that you're only watching it so you can ogle the divas?
Well, she thinks I watch it mainly for John Cena. So
oh, okay. Nice pulling the wool over her eyes, Kyle.
Yeah.
So, but what I gather from the show is that it's mostly, and there's a match between the Divas at SummerSlam. Natalya is going up against Brie Bella, one half of the Bella twins. But this seems to be more about the personal lives and the dating lives almost of the Divas and their superstar boyfriends. I mean, or in Natalya's case, her husband, Tyson Kidd. They just got married not that long ago. But you've got one of the Bellas. I'm going to forget which one. You can tell me. One of them's been with John Cena for about, a year now?
Yeah, that would be Nikki Bella.
Okay.
He's with John Cena.
And Brie Bella has been with Daniel Bryan for a couple years now.
Correct.
And so it's all about them. And I think you've got one of the Funkadactyls who come to the ring, of course, with Brodus Clay and Tensai, the Tons of Funk. They are with, again, I don't know which one, is with Jimmy Uso, right?
Jimmy Uso, that is correct.
Okay, because every promo I see, there's a fight between the wrestler, or an argument between the wrestler and his diva girlfriend. That's every promo for that show that I've ever seen, Kyle.
Definitely keeps it interesting and very entertaining because you don't know what's going to happen on that show. And I think they're doing a really good job finally getting the divas. I mean, they had to give them their own show to make them, somewhat relevant. But I'm a fan, Ray. I'm a fan of the
All
show.
Right.
Not just because it's WWE, but it is. It's entertaining.
All right. See, I've had trouble getting into the divas for a long time. You have to go back to the days of, let's see, I'd say Trish Stratus. To when I was actually gave a crap about the and they weren't even called the divas back then when it was Trish Stratus and Lita. Lita probably still my favorite of all time. But so Natalya, Brie Bella, who you got in this one?
I think they're going to keep the Bellas looking strong as heels because that's one thing about the show, Ray, is you find out that the WWE really just, I don't know what they have against Natalya, but they really just don't give her the credit that she deserves. And once you watch the show, you'll get that insight when you watch it. So I'm going to think that Brie Bella would win this match just to keep the Bella twins, since they are the stars of Total Divas, looking strong. So I got Brie Bella defeating Natalya at SummerSlam.
I agree with that. And I think here's my hypothesis on Natalya. And, don't want to ascribe any chauvinistic tendencies toward WWE management, but Natalya's just not built the way the other divas are built. She's not big, she's muscular, as opposed to AJ, who is kind of petite, tiny, and the Bellas certainly. And I think that shouldn't be working against Natalya because she's a very nice person. Got to meet her when she was in town last year for Survivor Series, and there's no reason to hold her back. But I just wonder if that's kind of working against her.
Yeah, I think you're right. The image plays a part to Natalya's disadvantage for whatever reason. Like you said, WWE just isn't giving Natalya that. She's phenomenal inside the ring.
Mm-hmm.
She comes from the Hart family.
Yeah, exactly.
So she's gifted and talented.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever reason, I think her looks, and it's sad to say that, but I think her looks just aren't what the WWE is trying to focus on right now. But hopefully they'll come to their senses and eventually give Natalya the respect and credit that she deserves.
Moving on, we've got what's probably going to be the blow-off match in the rivalry between the two former best friends, Damien Sandow and Cody Rhodes. I have liked the Damien Sandow character from the get-go. I think it's a brilliant character, and Damien has exploited it and built that into something that's going to be viable for quite some time. He also holds the Money in the Bank briefcase for the World Heavyweight Championship, which he will cash in at some point in the future. Cody Rhodes, of course, the son of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Cody has a great look. He can talk a little bit, but Cody just hasn't really been able to get over that hump into I guess superstardom is the word I'm looking for. And I don't think this is going to be the match that propels him forward, even if he did manage to be the victor in this match, Kyle.
Yeah, they've really been, trying to figure out what to do with Cody Rhodes. They keep, switching his gimmick up every now and then. And, it was a long time coming when the team Rhodes Scholars would be on and off again. It was only a matter of time before these two feuded, and I'm sure you're the same way. We've been waiting for these two guys to go at it, and I think it's going to be a pretty entertaining match. And if Sandow does lose, I think he'll still be okay because he has that World Heavyweight Championship Money in the Bank briefcase. So that's why I'm giving Cody Rhodes this is the match where I think Cody Rhodes will win, and possibly because he's right there, Ray. I mean, he's right there on the line where do we want to give him that push in the main event title picture, or do we want to keep him mid-card? I think that this will help him. But like you said, I don't know exactly if it will propel him to be jumped into that limelight right off the bat. But I do have Cody Rhodes winning this match against Damian Sandow.
I don't know. I think I'm going to go the other way. I think Damian is going to come out. It might be something ridiculous or nefarious, shall we say, but I think Damian's going to come out on top here. And yeah, Cody has got to figure out. I don't know. When they give him the chance, the opening, he hasn't jumped through that opening and really grabbed the audience with something as of yet. But again, he's got the tools, and he's still very young. We forget he got into this business when he was extremely young, so it's not as if he is around the corner from middle age here. So, but I think I'll go with Damian in this one.
I will say I do like what Sandow has done to the briefcase.
Yes, the leather briefcase that kind of looks like chocolate, because that gives you another angle to make fun of the briefcase. So, yeah, again, Damian, he really is apparently a brilliant guy out of the ring. And he's exploiting that with great effect with WWE. Talking to Kyle Wells about SummerSlam. Cannot wait for this one. Kane and Bray Wyatt. How to make your... Now, granted, Bray Wyatt has wrestled in some house shows for WWE, so they are billing this as his debut match. It's not really his debut match, but it is on television, and it just happens to be a match that we haven't seen in the organization in a long time. I guess this is kind of like the old Inferno match, the Ring of Fire match, where they're setting the ring, or at least the outside of the ring, on fire. And I found interesting, Kyle, I noticed the explanation from Michael Cole, the announcer, this past week, that it's not designed to set anybody on fire. It's designed to keep people out of the ring. Remember the old Inferno match? It was designed to set somebody on fire. That's how you won the match, is you set your opponent on fire. That's not the case, apparently, this time.
Yeah, and as you said, the Inferno match, Kane has been set on fire several times by his brother, The Undertaker, and even Triple H. So, but Ray, I got a feeling that Kane is going to be set on fire in this match. I think it's going to happen. I really, really, really am a fan of the Wyatt family. My girlfriend thinks they're creepy. But
they're supposed to be creepy.
I'm a fan of them. I love the sheet mask. I love we're here. The lights go out, the lantern. I love it. I think it's brilliant. I think it's something different. The WWE needs that, mystique and that creepiness, and they got it with the Wyatts. And I think Bray sells the character. He's a genius. I think he's doing it great, and this will definitely be a catapult match for the Wyatt family as they send Kane away to. I believe the rumors are he's gonna go away to film another movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that this would be the great match to send Kane away, set him on fire, have the Wyatt family just totally, dominate Kane, and have Bray Wyatt look very strong and challenge whoever's next in line for the Wyatts.
I agree. I think the Wyatts win this match, either Bray or with some help. And Kane we know he's scheduled, as you said, to go away to film a movie. So this will be his exit for a while from the ring, but should be entertaining. And Bray Wyatt's promos, that's some of the best promo work that I've seen in a very long time. And that's coming from a guy who's he's not a rookie. A lot of folks forget that he was part of the Nexus a few years ago under a different name. And he's been down in NXT and developmental for a while. But he's got good genetics, son of Mike Rotunda, great wrestler, and a pretty good promo guy too. But man, he has taken that character and just owned it. He started owning it down in NXT before coming up to WWE, and it's a phenomenal to watch, and it's captivating. And you just can't, whether you think it's creepy or not, you can't let go of it once you see it. So, I think there are big things coming for the entire Wyatt family, and I think it starts with a win for Bray Wyatt over Kane. I'll be honest, I am not a fan of the mixed tag team match concept. Never have been, just really don't care for it, but I guess this is what they have to do to blow off this Dolph Ziggler AJ Biggie Langston thing and get Caitlyn involved somehow, because we have the mixed tag team match. It's Biggie and AJ against Dolph and Caitlyn. How do you see this one?
Man, oh man, Ray, I agree with you. What is the WWE doing with Dolph Ziggler? You know, do you remember when he?
I don't think they know, Kyle.
Neither do I. I don't remember when he was the champ. It happened so fast. It's just so sad that, you know, he was one of the top, getting up there to the top, won the title. Then he had the concussion that ultimately, you know, forced him to lose the title. But now WWE just keeps burying him. And now he's feuding with AJ Lee. Oh, my goodness, Ray. I'm not a fan of this at all. But I do think that Dolph and Caitlyn will end this once and I hope so, Ray. I really do. I hope they end it once and for all. Let's just have the faces beat the heels, and then that way it'll set up a match, Big E versus Dolph single-handedly. That match can be on its own, and give Caitlyn a title shot versus AJ at Night of Champions. That's the way this match should go. I really hope it heads that direction. I'm kind of over the whole, you know, Dolph versus AJ feud that we have going here, because Dolph deserves so much better, and I know you'll agree with that. He deserves to be in the main event title picture, not in a mixed gender tag match.
Yeah, and here's my guess, and this is just a guess with Dolph. When they made the big turn, you remember when he cashed in the briefcase against Alberto Del Rio, and he was supposed to be the bad guy, and the crowd in New York, New Jersey just went berserk for that. They loved it. And I don't think the office expected that big of fan pop for Dolph Ziggler, because I'll never forget when it appeared that Del Rio was going to come back and by some miracle win that match. The crowd started booing, and it was loud. It was just insanely loud. Dolph wins the match. Crowd goes berserk. The crowds since then, for the most part, have not popped like that for Dolph Ziggler. And part of it is, one, he missed the time with the concussion. That hurt him, and that was through no fault of his own. He got the crap kicked out of him by Jack Swagger. But number two, in this feud with AJ, the promos, it's hard to cut a strong promo in a situation like this, where you're trying to break off the quote-unquote love interest, and I don't know. The promos have not been Dolph Ziggler, what he's capable of, and what we saw from Dolph as a heel. And I think that's hurt his fan reaction, and how the office works. Sometimes they see that, and they all of a sudden have second thoughts about this being a top guy. I hope that's not happening to Dolph, because having seen his work ethic and his in-ring work over the past few years, they should know better. But maybe if they get this feud out of the way, that can free up Dolph for bigger and better things. AJ is the most compelling of the women they have on the roster as far as mic work, and largely as far as in-ring work too. Caitlyn, God love her, but the crowd just doesn't care about Caitlyn, and that's what it seems. Every time they get her in there, nobody cares. So this might be. I hope this isn't the snooze match of the entire pay-per-view. But yeah, I think Dolph and Caitlyn do come out on top. Want to get to this because as we are talking, this is before SmackDown airs, so we don't know if this match is going to be part of the card. It looks like it is, though. At least we're hearing that. And that would be a tag team championship match between Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, current tag team champions, 2/3 of the Shield, against the Big Show, back from injury. He's been taking a lot of time off with an injury, and Mark Henry. Now, again, this isn't officially added to the card as of yet, but it's looking like that may be the case. If it is, Kyle, what do you think?
Yeah, we're making a bold prediction here just basing off Monday Night Raw with this tag team match. Hopefully we'll see it, because I think this might be the end of the Shield's reign as tag team champions. They've done a great job. They've dominated for almost 10 months now. Not as champs, but just as they've came into the WWE, they've done a tremendous job. I love what they've done with the Shield. But I honestly think that if this match is official at SummerSlam, I'm going with the Big Show and Mark Henry defeating Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins to become the new tag team champions. I really think, Big Show is in – he looked like he was in really good shape when he came out Monday night.
Yeah, he looked thin, didn't he? At least as thin as Big Show could look.
Yeah, exactly, from a 7-footer,
So, yeah, I think, this would set up nicely to be, and you don't ever want to say one last run, but let's face it, one last run perhaps for Big Show and Mark Henry, who are, I hate to say, getting up there too, because they're about Big Show, I think, is my age, and Mark Henry is close to it. But that's
those guys have definitely been around for a long time.
They have. And plus, Big Show and Mark Henry, they get hurt a lot, Mark Henry especially. So this would be perhaps one final decent run with some championship belts for both of them, and presumably Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns have a whole lot of years ahead of them. So if this match does happen, I think you're right. I think they take the titles off of those two, of Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. Now, I don't know. I wonder if that would set up, let's say that happens and Dean Ambrose keeps the United States titles. Does this set up potentially a split for the Shield? Because it seems, and again, we're basing this off just anecdotal things that you see on TV, it almost seems like they're trying to separate Dean Ambrose away from Seth and Roman every so often, because Dean seems to be, especially on the mic, he seems to be the clear star, at least right now, of those three.
I agree with that. It feels like over the past couple of weeks, the Shield has been just weaker and weaker and weaker. I feel like they're kind of hinting that this might be the end of the Shield. Like I said earlier, they've done a great job over the 10 months that they've been in the WWE since being called up from NXT. But I think you're right. You know, Dean Ambrose is definitely a standout right now. He is definitely the front runner to be in singles competition by himself. And I really do like Roman Reigns a lot. I think he's going to be a future star, not necessarily right away. Dean Ambrose definitely will take the cake with that. But I think you're right, Ray. I think this might be not necessarily the end of the Shield, but it's definitely coming. I do believe that these guys are going to separate and go off and do their own thing.
World Heavyweight Championship match. You talk about a championship that has lost its luster, at least in my opinion, over the years. That would be the World Heavyweight Championship. This is the big gold belt that dates back to Ric Flair in the in the NWA. Well, this would have been post NWA. This would have been when it became the WCW title, is when that belt made its debut many, many years ago. Alberto Del Rio, who I guess he cemented his bad guy credentials by the whipping that he put on his personal ring announcer, Mr. Ricardo Rodriguez, a couple of weeks ago, when Ricardo came back from his suspension from for performance enhancing or violating the drug policy. I'm not sure which drug that was, but I'm guessing that was his perhaps Ricardo's continued punishment for that drug violation was getting the crap beat out of him by Alberto Del Rio in his first match back. So it's Alberto Del Rio minus the ring announcer against Christian, who I guess they're almost billing this as a retirement style match almost for Christian, don't you think? At least that's the build up it's gotten.
They have the one more match surrounding Christian with this World Heavyweight Championship match, and Ray, that's the reason why I'm going with Christian to win. I really think the reason why the WWE World Heavyweight title has been kind of boring is because Alberto Del Rio's held the title. I just don't know what it is with this guy, but he's stale.
It's funny because, Alberto Del Rio, he comes from great stock, and he's good in the ring. He's had some very good – he and John Cena had some just fantastic matches over the last couple of years, just really dadgum good matches. But you get him on the mic, the crowd goes away. They don't care. And I mean, Alberto Del Rio hasn't been interesting on the mic unless you go way back. First time I saw him when he was still coming out driving the expensive cars out to the ring. And maybe the car tab got too expensive for WWE and they had to cut that out from him. But ever since the cars went away, Alberto Del Rio just has not been interesting. And the ring announcer has been more popular than Del Rio has for a very long time now. So I think for that reason, despite, all the potential that he seems to have, he hasn't taken that extra step to connect with the fan And I think that's going to be one reason that he loses this match to Christian.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you on that. I think that Christian will get this win. He'll become the new world heavyweight title champion. Has one more match. This is it. This is his last run. I mean, he earned it. He's had a great. I really liked the package that they aired on Raw the other night, just highlighting his career. I really thought that was really cool that they did that. That kind of gives you the feel that the end is near for Christian. So I'm down with them giving him the titles one last time. And also, Ray, I've read that Ricardo is also he's been training to wrestle too. So it also makes me think that he's going to play a factor in this match one way or another. And Alberto's going to get that match with Ricardo somewhere down the road. And I think SummerSlam is going to set that up. Ricardo and Alberto will go off and feud each other.
Yeah.
And Christian will walk away as the world heavyweight champion.
Yeah, what the casual fan may not know is Ricardo has actually been wrestling for quite some time, both as himself and under a mask using the name El Local, and it's spelled local. Matter of fact, remember he wrestled... it was, I believe, a Superstars match, which you can only see Superstars at the WWE website. He wrestled a match as El Local, and the ring announcer was, what's his name, big guy ring announcer who doesn't work as much anymore, introduced him as El Local, mispronouncing his name, so which was really funny. But, yeah, Ricardo is an accomplished guy in the ring, and the geek fan in me would like to see El Local show up out of nowhere to cost Del Rio this match, but
that would be awesome.
That's just me.
Idea, Ray.
No, I don't know if the crowd would get it, but it would be funny to the handful of us who would get it. Now, question becomes, does Damian Sandow cash in the briefcase, regardless of what happens in the Christian Del Rio match, or does he hold on to it a little bit longer?
That's a great question that I find myself asking all day long. I've been pondering this because never before has both Money in the Bank briefcase winners cashed in at the same night. I know we haven't gotten to the main event yet of SummerSlam, but we'll start with Damian Sandow. If Christian wins the way that I think he will, I don't think they'll ruin his moment by having Sandow cash it in. That's the angle that I'm running with. If Christian wins the title, like I think he will, I think they'll hold off on Sandow and have a rematch with him versus Cody Rhodes at Night of Champions. I think that's the angle that I'm going to run with. Now, if Alberto Del Rio wins, I will not be surprised if they have Damian Sandow cash in and become the new World Heavyweight Champion. That would be another angle that they could play, but I'm going to go with Sandow does not cash in at SummerSlam.
Yeah, they waited a while to cash in, or at least the World Heavyweight title. They waited a long time for Dolph to cash that one in when he won it last year, so I think they'll wait at least a little bit longer with Sandow this time. CM Punk and Brock Lesnar. I'm certainly, me being the CM Punk guy, looking forward to this very much. And don't get me wrong, I like to watch Lesnar's work too, because especially since he came back from UFC, his style has changed so much, and he tries to incorporate that UFC style into his pro wrestling matches. And of course, this stems from the split in the relationship between CM Punk and Paul Heyman. What do you think about this one?
This is a tough match, Ray. This is a really tough match to predict who's going to win. One would think the way Monday Night Raw ended, with CM Punk being on top of the world, totally destroying Brock, making him look weak, something we don't rarely see from Brock Lesnar. One would think heading into SummerSlam, CM Punk's got the momentum to win, but also, as a wrestling fan knows, sometimes that isn't always the case. When the guy on Monday Night Raw looks strong, sometimes he falls at the pay-per-view the next following that Monday Night Raw. And I also read that this might be Brock's last match for a while. He might go away and maybe not even return till Survivor Series, might not even come back till WrestleMania. And if that's the case, I think they'll have CM Punk defeat Brock Lesnar, overcome all the odds of the bullying and the Paul Heyman angle. And that's why I'm going to go. It's very rare to hear this come out of my mouth, Ray, but I'm going to go with your boy, CM Punk, to surprise and shock us at SummerSlam and defeat Brock Lesnar. So the best in the world is going to defeat the Beast, Brock Lesnar, at SummerSlam, and I think you might like that. But what's your take on this match?
You just don't like CM Punk, do you, Kyle?
You know, I've never really been a big fan of him. I respect him, but I don't know. There's always just been something where if there was one wrestler on the roster that I don't like for some reason, it's CM Punk. But I respect him, and I'm going to give him the win at SummerSlam. I think he's due for a win against Brock, and that'll send Brock away for a while.
I don't know. I would like to pick that way, but even if Brock is going away for a while, I don't know that they'll necessarily give CM Punk the win over Brock. Because Brock got the win over Triple H their last time out, kind of cementing that series, taking 2 out of 3 from Triple H. And you're right, he probably won't wrestle again for a long time because that's his contract. He comes in for the big events, and then he goes home for a while and gets paid the big money to do that because he's Brock Lesnar and he can get away with it. But, that doesn't necessarily, in my mind, automatically guarantee a CM Punk victory. Now, if Brock does win, I imagine he'll get some help from Paul Heyman. And you know what? I'm going to pick a Brock Lesnar victory. I can't believe I'm picking against my boy. But I think, like I said, I don't think it'll be a clean win, but it'll be a win. It might even be a count-out win or something silly like that after they just beat the living crap out of each other, which they probably will. Because that's one thing you can be assured in a Brock Lesnar match, because regardless whether it was against John Cena, Triple H, there's legitimate violence in the match. And both guys are usually worse for wear after the match is over because they want to make it look as legit as possible. And that's what Brock Lesnar brings to the table so well. So I think it'll be pretty brutal. It'll probably steal the show, with all respect to Daniel Bryan and John Cena. But I think Brock's going to come out on top, one way or the other.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's going to be a tough match to predict. I've gone back and forth, and my bias against CM Punk had me leaning towards Brock there for a while.
At least you admit your bias against CM Punk.
I am. I admit that. I am biased towards CM Punk. I do have Punk winning. You got Brock winning. That's going to be a great match.
Yeah.
And, I'm excited for it.
I am too. Can't wait to see it. And, of course, we've got the WWE Championship match, Daniel Bryan, John Cena. Now, I think the one thing that's going to spoil this, at least for those of us who read what's on the Internet, is it appears that John Cena is going to have some surgery here soon. At least those are the reports.
His elbow, Ray?
Yeah, that elbow has been ugly for a while now. What did he do to the elbow? I haven't heard, and he hasn't been forthcoming as to what he did to that elbow.
Yeah, I still don't know. And me being the big John Cena fan that I am, I do not know. But that is a very nasty injury. It really does, to give the listeners a visual. It's like baseball hanging out of your elbow.
Yeah.
Which is very nasty.
I don't know if he dislocated it and popped it back in, and that's the swell. I don't know what happened, but it's ugly, and it's been like that for, 2-3 weeks now?
Yeah, it's been very noticeable for a couple weeks, and that just shows you the type of guy that Cena is. He'll do anything for the company. And but to tell you the truth, Ray, man, this is scary because of that injury. I think. Now, here's the way I'm playing this out, okay? I never go against John Cena. I never go against him. I always pick him to win, which is why I do have him defeating Daniel Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
I have him defeating Daniel Bryan to retain the title. However, I believe that Randy Orton, who has been kept off this card for this reason, will cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase, and he will defeat, as much as I hate to say this, he will defeat John Cena and leave as the champion. And I think Triple H, who's the guest referee, he's going to play a factor in this. Vince McMahon's going to play a factor in this. It's going to get good, Ray. It's going to get good.
I think just to be different, I'm going to say that Daniel Bryan wins the match and that Randy Orton cashes in against Daniel Bryan. But that would be my pick if I were a betting man. But I think you're right. One way or the other, Randy Orton leaves the building with the WWE title.
I agree with that. Also, my beard just chimed in. For those who don't know, I have a pretty thick beard on my face.
You've got the Daniel Bryan beard, yeah.
My beard predicts Daniel Bryan to become the new champion. I just wanted to throw that in there.
That's not schizophrenia. That's split personality disorder there that you got going on. So, all right.
That's beard schizophrenia right there.
I see. So, all right, that'll be interesting to see. I think Daniel Bryan, and I think this kind of helps propel this Daniel Bryan I don't get respect character a little more if he wins the match and then loses the belt in that fashion, or maybe gets screwed out of it. Maybe Triple H turns heel and helps his old buddy Randy Orton with or gain the title that way. I could completely see that, having John Cena not. I don't know that John Cena would ever tap out. I think that might not happen.
No. Can't have Super Cena tap out.
But, let's say he gets rolled up or something for the victory. Maybe Cena leaves, shaking his hand, and then Triple H turns on Daniel Bryan, gives him the pedigree. Randy Orton shows up. Oh, by the way, Triple H is still the guest referee, so there's a referee there to cash in the briefcase, and lo and behold, you've got a new champion. That would be my pick.
How that plays out. Triple H already being there, it's like he's anticipating Orton to come out there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that would be my pick. All right. Well, there's our SummerSlam picks. Should be hopefully a good pay-per-view. Hopefully worth the money that we are going to pay for it, Kyle Wells. And as always, love talking the business with you. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for having me on, Ray. Expect a lot of yes chants on Sunday.
No doubt.
There will be yes chants filling Los Angeles. And, it should be a great show, and I look forward to it. Good luck with your picks and your predictions, and we'll see what happens come Monday.